What happens when the woman who created your success is no longer the woman you want to become? People, the internet, keep describing this season as burnout, a midlife crisis, a career crisis. I don't think it's a crisis. I think it's evolution. And if you're listening to this episode, there is a good chance you are evolving too. For months, I have been feeling resistance every time I sat down to record this podcast. Not resistance to the conversation or to the work, resistance to the name, stand out. Because the truth is, I no longer want what that version of me wanted. And once I admitted that to myself, I realized this episode was never about the change of the podcast name. It was about something much bigger. For most of my life, I was rewarded for standing out. I was the first daughter, the first to go to university, the first to build a global career, the first to achieve a level of success nobody around me had modeled. And if you're anything like me, your story probably has some version of that too. Maybe you were the responsible one, the achiever, the one everyone pointed to as the example, the one who always figured it out, the woman who made herself indispensable. For 15 years, I built a career that, from the outside, looked exactly like I had dreamed of. I worked across government, parliaments, international organizations in more than 20 countries. I traveled constantly. I sat in rooms I once thought were impossible to access. I built programs for women leaders. I advised institutions. I had influence, impact, recognition. And for a long time, I felt extraordinary because it was. I don't want to rewrite that chapter of my life, and I don't want to pretend I wasn't grateful for it, because I was. But something started changing quietly, and at first, I couldn't name it. I remember being at the airport, sitting at the gate on one morning and feeling a heaviness I couldn't explain. It wasn't exhaustion, it wasn't burnout, it was something else. I was on my way to the work I had spent years trying to be invited to do. And yet, the thought that kept returning was, I don't think I want this anymore. That thought terrified me, because what do you do when you have spent 15 years climbing a mountain and then realize you are no longer interested in the view? Most women don't talk about this part because it sounds ungrateful. A lot of people are still trying to get what we already have, and we are aware of our privilege. So we keep performing gratitude while privately questioning everything. Many high-achieving women were taught a very specific equation. Work harder, become exceptional, create enough value, prove yourself enough times, and eventually you will arrive. Arrive where? Nobody ever explains that part. What we were actually promised was relief. The relief of finally being enough, the relief of no longer needing to prove, the relief of finally being successful, aka being safe. But then we achieved that thing, the promotion, the business, the income, the title, the recognition, and the relief never arrives because the achievement was never solving the problem we thought it was solving. The enemy isn't ambition. I want to be very clear about that. I'm still deeply ambitious. The enemy is the belief that your worth must constantly be earned, that every season of your life should require proof, that excellence is the price of belonging, that productivity is the price of rest, that achievement is the price of self-respect. That belief has been running in the background of our lives for decades, and it's exhausting. This is the moment the podcast name stopped fitting. Because Standout was born from a chapter of my life where visibility mattered, where I was learning how to take up space, how to build credibility, how to be seen. And that work was necessary. But something changes as you get older, at least it did for me. I no longer want to be the most impressive person in the room. I want to be the most aligned. I no longer want visibility that cost myself. I want coherence. I no longer want success that requires self-abandonment. I want success I can actually live inside, quietly and yet still powerfully. That, to me, is quiet power. Quiet power is not shrinking or settling. It's not becoming less ambitious. It's knowing exactly who you are and no longer needing constant evidence. It's becoming selective, protective of your energy, protective of your attention, protective of your life. You are not giving up. We are not. You are becoming more refined and distinctive of what matters. Let me repeat that. You are becoming more refined and distinctive of what matters. If you are in your late 30s or early 40s, you may already feel this happening. The goals, the ambition haven't disappeared, but your relationship with them has changed. You notice yourself questioning opportunities your younger self would have fought for. You have become more aware of the hidden cost of saying yes. Less interested in the applause, more interested in peace. Less interested in proving, more interested in experiencing your own life. Less interested in being admired, more interested in being known. The internet calls this a crisis. I think it's wisdom. You are realizing that the woman who got you here cannot automatically decide where you go next. The older I get, the less interested I am in becoming more. That's it. I'm more interested in becoming myself. And that is why this podcast is now called Inside Quiet Power. I'm in the middle of an evolution, learning how to be ambitious without being consumed, learning how to succeed without abandoning myself, learning how to stop treating excellence as an argument for my worth. And if you have been feeling that shift too, if you have been questioning things that once felt obvious, if you have been looking at a life that is objectively successful and wondering why it no longer feels entirely like yours, you are exactly where you are supposed to be. This is the moment you realize you have outperformed the identity you were given, and you are finally ready to build the one that belongs to you. I will see you inside Quiet Power.